So let's see the different wetness levels of paint here. Okay, so the first wetness level is dry paint. So that is like what you get in a pan. Okay, so this is all very dry paint. It's still looking a little wet because I was using it. Otherwise, what you get in a pan is a dry paint. Okay, now let's see what is happening from a tube. If you are squeezing out from a tube, how does it look like? So next consistency is the consistency of the paint that we get from a tube. So I'm just taking one part of it, a little bit. Now I'm going to add one drop of water into it. One part paint with one part of water. So let me add some water. If you have a dropper, that is the best way of adding water to it than using a brush. So I'm adding one part of water, almost like this. Okay, now if I mix it, this is something like a buttery consistency, not the consistency of the butter that you get when you take it out of the fridge, but when you keep it outside for some time in the heat, right? That is when we get this kind of a consistency. This is a buttery consistency of the paint. So it's very thick. You see, it's almost like opaque. Okay, now if we add one more part of water into it, like 1:2 or 1:3, I'm adding one more part, 1:3, okay, part into it, and then if I mix together, okay, this is like a creamy consistency. The next consistency after buttery consistency is a creamy consistency. Okay, you saw that it's not still not flowing very much, it's very thick. Okay, able to see? It's still very thick. Okay, so this is something called creamy consistency. Again, we use creamy consistency when we want really dark areas. Okay, see that this is almost same, right? This is a creamy consistency. Okay, now I am adding a little bit more of water. So creamy consistency, it is like 1 part paint to 2 to 3 part water. Now I am going to make it a milky consistency. So milky consistency, I will add like around 6 part water. So already 3 part water is here. I will add a little bit more, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so almost 6 to 7 parts of water is what we want for milky consistency. So now this paint is of milky consistency. So now it is like more flowing, you know, like milk, right? It is milky consistency. So I can paint it here. This is a milky consistency paint. Okay. Now if I add 3 more parts of water, it will become almost like watery consistency. Like for water consistency, the part of water is paint to water ratio is 1:9. So 1, 2, 3, it's 9. Okay, you can have 9 to 12 depending upon the thickness of the paint as well. Taking one more. Okay, 1:10. And if I mix together, you can have 9 to 12 parts of water to 1 part of paint here. Okay, now it is 10 part of water. Maybe I think I can add one more if required, one more part of water, so that it will become more watery consistency. If the consistency of the water is now 11 and 12, I added 12 parts of water. Okay, so now I'm going to get a, see, it is more flowing now. You see that? This is kind of watery consistency. Okay, so this is the watery consistency paint. You see? Okay, now if I paint with it, you see that it's much more light. This is the watery consistency of paint. And the next one is tinted consistency. This is where you add a little bit of paint and lots of water into it. Okay, so to this I can add more water. You can use a dropper for adding the water, that's better. Okay, I'm adding lots of water, lots and lots of water. We just need a tint of the color. Okay, that's called tinted consistency. Okay, with lots of water. Okay, almost like tinted consistency. Okay, so let me show you how it looks like. Thank you. See, we're just giving a tint of it. Okay, you can add even more water to this to get a tinted consistency. Okay, so these are the different consistencies of the paint.